Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. The channel contains hundreds of different videos catering from beginners right through to the more advanced tyers and covering flies and patterns from all around the world. If you like what you see, stick around until the end of the video where generally you'll find the pattern description, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Let's get on with the show.
Hi guys, so we're going to show you how to attach a hook to an intruder shank. So this is a shank that I made myself with video on making that, but use whatever shanks you have yourself. There are a variety of commercially available ones. So as I said, the one I have made, I've done so that the two eyes are not in the same plane, therefore, and I created this sort of gun handle shape to them so it sits in the vise much better. It depends on the orientation of your vise, but for my type of vise here, given that it has this crank in it, that it's much more difficult to do an inline one, as I'd have to tie the fly like this so the whole thing's in my way, or possibly like that. So I created it this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 75 denier, or denier, however it's pronounced, gel spun tying thread to attach the shank to the loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bind the whole shank together. Now just be careful when you come over the cut ends of, or legs, shall we call them, whatever you want to call them, of your shank, that it may cut your tying thread. So I'm just creating a good solid base of tying thread down that, and then what I'll do is just take a runny super glue or zap gap, whatever you want to call it, and I just let it run into that. That'll bind the whole thing together. Now, another option that you could use for doing this is this stuff, which is uni big fly, although it does tend to build up a bit of bulk. I've tried doing it with my standard tying threads, and while it will work, it's much more prone to cutting on our shank cut ends, unless you want to go to the bother of sanding them. So there's a variety of different things you can use to create your loop. So common things for this would be like a beading wire or a Senyo intruder wire. You have to crimp those to get them through the eyes of your hooks, and that can damage the wire a little bit, but the advantage of the wire would be that it is more stiff and therefore will deal with sag a bit better. Another option is either 20 or 25 pound Maxima Chameleon, again slightly thick, and you have to crimp it probably to get it through the ivy hook. Or the other one is this stuff, which is Berkeley FIRELINE. This one happens to be a smoke, although it comes in fluorescent green and clear and whatnot. So this is a thermally fused sort of braided line, and it has that advantage that it has a little bit of stiffness to it. So what I'm going to do is cut off a section of this, probably 6 inches or so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it here and to create this loop. Just pinch that. I'm going to pass that through the eye of my intruder hook. This is a Z4 intruder from Partridge. And then I'm going to split the loop, pass the hook bend through that, and then that means that when we pull this down on top, it creates this sort of attachment here. So we want to set that up on top of the shank, and what you want to do is you want to leave just enough here, once we tie back to this, that you can change a hook. So in time you can mark that for length. Now the standard size of these hooks is generally a 2 or a 4. So I said once you slide this forward, you want to make sure that this loop is able to slide around the bend and over the point, and therefore you can change that hook out if you want. So this one is just long enough at that. I'm going to keep that up on top and bind that down position because we're happy enough with it for length. So then I want to bind this forward. As you can see, having the two arms of a shank here gives that little groove that will sit into. And you can either stop shy of the eye here and fold it back, or some people for added security will like to pass that through the eye underneath and then bind that down. Come back along its length, and then what I do here is I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to cut it off so that it's about level with the return eye of the rear part here. So then once I bind that back, it'll kind of take the step out that we had here, so making for a smoother body when we want to go down that. Most of these flies have a heavily dubbed kind of a body anyway, so it's not that important, but if you wanted to be wrapping something smoother on, or a tinsel or something like that body, then it would help with that. I like to have a few extra turns or layers, shall we say, back here, because this is the bit that's going to take the hinging and the force of playing a fish, so I would put it on there. So bind that, and then I'm just going to whip that in place, trim it off, and then I'm going to coat this again in our super glue or Zap-A-Gap or cyanoacrylate, whatever you want to call it. Coat the whole thing, and that is our shank ready to tie a fly. So what you can do is tie up numerous of those, get them set ready so that whenever you go to tie you have them, because it's sort of time consuming part of it, so tie them production line, shall we say. So hopefully you liked the video. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, check out all the other videos on the channel, and until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.